This book is called Strangers on a Train, which is a weird title because the train isn't important, it only appears for a chapter and a half, and besides, there aren't any strangers there.
Argo Funk Book Review, Argo Funk Book Review.
Book 1 ended with a jewelry store robbery. On page 2, we're told the culprit is Troy Anderson, a local criminal who we've never heard of before. Well, that end-of-book cliffhanger didn't last very long. A busboy is publicly fired for having illegal drugs in his locker. Hawaiian Shirt defends John. Nancy follows Hawaiian Shirt twice before he confronts her. No, Nancy, you're supposed to confront suspects, not the other way around. It's revealed Hawaiian Shirt is a union organizer, which is why he's always talking to employees. Nancy reviews the suspect list. She finds an angry Scott threatening someone on his phone. When he sees Nancy, Scott shouts at her before regaining his composure. In Chapter 3, Nancy and George review the suspect list and make no progress whatsoever. In Chapter 4, Nancy reviews her suspect list with Becca, which makes 4 recaps of the suspect list in 4 chapters. Nancy, new rule. You're not allowed to review the suspect list unless you have new evidence, okay? Don't waste time rehashing information the readers already know. There's a mix-up with Nancy's clothes. Max the butler claims someone left him a note telling him to wash the clean clothes. Now Nancy doesn't have any clean clothes. She adds Max to the suspect list out of pure spite. That will teach him to mess with her clothing. Ellen overhears the girls reviewing the suspect list again. They're finally forced to confess Nancy's here to solve a mystery. I call it the mystery of the culprit who does nothing for the first 99 pages, besides mess with Nancy's laundry. Everyone goes for a train ride. Wendy the travel blogger looks suspicious because she's desperate for a viral story. As in, so desperate, she sold her car to go on this cruise. That is bad financial planning. Nancy is mildly injured when the culprit leaves a pile of broken glass shards on her seat. Tobias talks to Alan about his environmental studies major because 8-year-olds are fascinated by college curriculums. Nancy finds it odd an environmental studies student knows absolutely nothing about the environment, but hey, no one ever said Alan was a good student. Tobias also talks about Alaskan bone smugglers, criminals who sell the bones of endangered species for great profit. Oh, thanks, Tobias. I was wondering what the culprit's motive was. Everyone checks into a hotel. The hotel canceled Nancy's reservation after receiving an anonymous phone call. Wait, really? They got an anonymous phone call and they canceled the reservation? What was the call like? Hello, Alaskan Hotel. Hi, do you have a reservation for Nancy Drew? Yes, I do, sir. Could you cancel it? Sure. Do you need anything else? No, I'm good. Thanks for helping. You're welcome. Have a nice day. Nancy reviews the suspect list yet another time, and she sees Tatjana sneaking off. Nancy learns Tatjana is secretly dating Hero. Hero is Becca's ex-boyfriend. That's why the 3 of them were acting strangely in the previous book, which wraps up their subplot nicely. Nancy wakes up at 2 a.m. and sees a smuggler sneaking into the woods to make a drop-off. She follows them, but before she can intercept the drop-off, the culprits shoot at her. Nancy runs for her life, and the local security guard dismisses the shooting as a hunting accident. Maybe a hunter shot at you because they thought you were a rabbit. At 2 a.m. in the morning? Wendy talks to Nancy. Wendy knows Nancy's a detective because she looked Nancy up online. Nancy's confused by this, so Wendy shows her what Google is. Nancy is totally dumbfounded to learn that people can find out about her on the computer, and what is going on here? Nancy Drew has no idea what Google is? She is a high schooler in 2013, and she still doesn't know how Google works. This is totally ridiculous. Nancy solves the case when she remembers 2 men got into a fight in the kitchen in the first book. One of them is the fired busboy. He was framed after discovering Scott is a smuggler. We never get told how he learned Scott is the culprit. That seems like it would be useful information to know. Maybe Nancy could get some good mystery-solving tips from this busboy. Scott is arrested, and the next day, everyone goes to Denali National Park. Alan gives Nancy directions to some nearby baby foxes, but it's a trap! Nancy's stuck between a wall and a mother moose. Alan throws a rock at the baby moose, the mother gets angry, and she's about to attack Nancy. But then the moose stops and waits patiently for a few minutes so Nancy and Alan can discuss the storyline. Alan's the secret culprit. He confesses to all of the leftover crimes. That is, Alan tried to kill Nancy with the glass on her seat, the golfing accident, and pushing her over the railing. He also canceled their hotel reservation, sent a threatening note, messed with her laundry, and dropped her bagel on the floor. No, I'm not kidding. Alan confesses to bumping into George so Nancy's bagel would get knocked on the floor. That makes 3 counts of attempted murder and 1 count of ruining breakfast. Wendy and Tobias appear. They filmed Alan's entire confession, which gives Wendy the viral story she was hoping for. Alan runs away. He is quickly caught and arrested because the police in Alaska take their bagels seriously. We learn Alan's father is in jail. Nancy's father was the prosecutor during the trial, so Alan wanted to kill Nancy for revenge. He only dated Bess to get close to Nancy, and he pretended to be an environmental studies major because, we have no idea. The end. Post-book follow-up. This book was written by Kekla Magoon. I wonder if she wrote the first book as well. The 2 books were published in the same month. Not to be petty, but why is diaries in the title of this series? There are no diaries in these books. The closest we get is a Dear Diary page at the start and end of each book. I'm fairly confident they are written by someone other than the author, because the starting diary entry gets the story wrong. Nancy's luggage and laundry weren't ransacked. If you're going to spoil the story before the story even starts, at least make sure your spoilers are accurate. I think this book is superior to the previous one, because the first book was mostly setup. This book is the payoff. I particularly like how this book resolves all the various characters' subplots one by one. I think all the explanations are satisfactory, and I don't feel like any of the characters were overlooked. Now that said, Nancy is a terrible detective in this book. She doesn't do any investigation. She just stumbles across all the clues by pure dumb luck. She spends most of her time reviewing the suspect list, which is just rehashing information the readers already know. I did not like it. These books have 3 groups of culprits, because it was originally supposed to be a trilogy. All of the culprits are unrelated. Other reviewers didn't like that. They felt that the books came across as a series of unrelated events because none of the culprits are interacting. I didn't feel that was the case, but I do agree they could have put more focus on the Smuggler Mystery. It's supposed to be the main mystery of this book, and it's introduced 2 chapters before it gets solved? I said in the previous review that I think the first 2 books should have been combined into one single-spaced book, instead of being split up into 2 double-spaced books. Reading this book did absolutely nothing to change my mind on that front. This should have been 1 book. Well, I thought this book was superior to the first, so I will rate it 1 point higher. I'm giving Nancy Drew Diaries number 2, Strangers on a Train, a 5 out of 10.